And good evening, everybody. It's Sunday evening. It's time for Pawpaw Storytime. I just got home. It's been a kind of a long day. I still need to shower. I'm still wearing my work clothes. Let me see. I know that I need to start doing these things. I got to stop pushing time since all my grandkids and all the kids are starting school back up. I don't want to ended up getting these things on here late, although sometimes they don't get to watch them when I'm live. They have to wait till later anyways. I did want to show everybody here real quick that I did score some more books at another sale. A couple of them that I'm really can't wait to do is this Arthur's Reading Race. I got a Grandpa's Song, anything with Grandpas and Pawpaws. Some of these books like this Don and Donna and the George and Martha, Arthur's Honey Bear and Corduroy. Those are books I think I remember reading when I was in school, so those would be kind of cool to do. This week, though, we're actually going to do the Mastodon book, the one that we voted, and it came up like second place here a couple weeks ago. So we're going to be doing that one. We're going to start with the first reading. It's going to be from Don't Sweat the Small Stuff Guide for Dads by Dr. Richard Carlson, chapter 5. Allow secrets, keep secrets. It says, one day your child is a fountain of information, all about what he or she is doing, learning, exploring, and experiencing. The next day, the fountain seems to be drying up. A simple question, like, what happened in school today, that would previously have been answered in detail with enthusiasm, elicits only a nothing. We all have secrets. It's part of being an individual. That's no less true for children than it is for adults. In fact, keeping secrets is one of the early steps in child separation from parents. It's one of the few ways that a child can say, some things are my business alone, because I am me, not you. It's natural to feel a loss and perhaps some alarm when the secrets begin. But unless you have evidence that there's something to worry about, such as a change in personality, a new level of fears, or unexplained injuries, your wisest course is to let the secrets lie. Your children have a developmental need to pull away from you as they mature. It's your job to equip them to do with all of the information that they need and age-appropriate boundaries firmly in place. If you do your part and make yourself a strong presence in your children's lives, you need not concern yourself when you realize that they choose not to share everything. On the other hand, you may sometimes be the person in whom your children decide to confide. Just as surely as you need to allow your kids to have secrets, you must be a worthy confidant. At times, kids' secrets are unbearably delicious, and you want to share them with other adults who will see the humor or the innocence in the same way that you do. Resist that temptation. Too often, kids overhear their parents discussing their kids' personal lives with friends. When they do, they learn the unhappy lesson that their parents can't be trusted with that confidence. In the same way, take care not to turn privileged information into fuel for teasing. It may win you a laugh from others, but it will lose a precious part of your relationship with your children. Treat your children the way you would want to be treated. Honor their privacy and guard their secrets. You will be rewarded with their trust. We'll put that one back in the rotation. Set that over here. And we are going to read Once Upon a Mastodon, all about prehistoric mammals. And it is the Cat in the Hat Learning Library book. So, we're just going to jump right in here. I'm the Cat in the Hat. Oh, please don't turn the page. Turn this a little better. Please don't turn the page to discover some... I'm going to start over. Get that out of the light a little bit. I'm the Cat in the Hat. Oh, please turn the page to discover some mammals from the Great Ice Age. Over 2 million years ago in the past, 1/3 of our planet became frozen fast. In the cold, many mammals did not survive. Others went south, where warmth helped them thrive. The mammals that stayed in the north mostly were covered with fat and with thick coats of fur. We got some pictures. It says, discover the Great Ice Age. I know that all the words are still backwards because I don't have a good camera for that yet. It says, what is a mammal? You might like to know. I have some ideas, so I'll give it a go. A mammal is warm-blooded, has lungs and backbone, and there's one other trait. that I'd like to make known. Moms feed their young milk from their mammary glands. That's why they're called mammals, as I understand. The mammals you'll see on the tour I'm giving are extinct, which means they are no longer living. How do we know how they looked, you might ask? We study their fossils, a difficult task. Experts can guess from very few traces how these beasts looked, both their bodies and faces. What they ate, how they moved, and how big they grew, if they were male or female, and how they died too. Teeth, footprints, and bones from long, long ago are what we call fossils, a word you may know. The sloth of today is the size of a cat, but there once was a ground sloth much bigger than that, as big as an elephant, and it had such long claws it needed to walk on the sides of its paws. This sloth's footprints tell, as clear as you please, that it reared on hind legs to munch on the trees. Megatherium americanum? No idea if I'm saying that right. Almost looks like a bear with sloth feet, don't it? And here is a mammal, a real crowd pleaser, still around at the time of the great Julius Caesar. With stout horns that spread even wider and bolder, the aurochs stood 6 feet high at the shoulder. Aurochs. Bos primigenius genius. Boy, I'm going to be messing up these words. In cold North America, on one ice age day, the dire wolf here was stalking her prey. Her prey sank down deep in the tar, and too late the dire wolf found she had met the same fate. Canis dearest. Come closer, my friends, that is if you dare, and say hi to the giant, short-faced bear. It stood 10 feet tall when on its hind feet, sharp teeth and strong jaw were made to eat meat. At 2,000 pounds, this big furry lug weighed almost as much as a Volkswagen Bug. And that says Arctodus simus. This is Smilodon. Having sighted a bear, we will now move on to the great Ice Age cat we call Smilodon. It had these long fangs like sabers, and that is the reason we call it a saber-toothed cat. It hunted and scavenged. Thing 2 says it's true, from Canada all the way down to Peru. Equus Tau. Were there Ice Age horses? Oh my yes, of course, from the pygmy on up to what we call giant horses. So the little one's called Equus Tau, and the bottom one is Equus pacificus. We know of the giant from one single find, a giant-sized tooth which boggles the mind. The great Irish elk, I will state loud and clear, holds the all-time record for world's biggest deer. With its antlers a whopping 12 feet across, it used them to show other elks who was boss. Bull fought with bull. Then the lucky winner took the prize cow on a date out to dinner. Megalosaurus gigantus. The next mammal on deck, oh heed me my son, is the woolly one we call the steppe bison. An Alaskan mummy that had frozen and dried gave us an idea of how one bison died. A lion tooth cracked and was left behind, as fossils go, an unusual find. And there on its flank a series of scratches to a lion's claws make the perfect matches. Bison priscus. Mammoths and mastodons, I will now tell you kids, belong to the order we call proboscids. Proboscids. Standing 14 feet high, mammoths once put away 700 whole pounds of plant matter each day. Tusks, 16 feet long, growing outward and curled, made mammoth the tusk king of the Ice Age world. Of mammoth fossils, there are scads and scads, bones of the moms and the babies and dads. In Hot Springs, South Dakota, 60 mammoths were found. Where a sinkhole was that they got stuck and drowned. Mammoths and mastodons, some people will claim, with their furred tusks and trunks, were really the same. But shorter of tusk and with legs not as long, mastodon were smaller though still plenty strong. Mammoth skulls were domed and mastodons flat, but the difference you see goes well beyond that. The big difference lies in their teeth, not their bones. Mammoths' teeth were flat, mastodons were shaped like cones. Mammoth americanum and Mammothus columbi. Were there humans back then? Yes, there were, by all means. The stars of their very own great Ice Age scenes. These folks lived together in a family brood, making fire for warmth and for cooking their food. They gathered up fruit and roots, nuts, and seeds, and killed to get meat and for their other needs. The Ice Age worker, who is pictured here, is chipping flint points to tie onto his spear. They were not just hunters, men brave of heart. These Stone Age people were skilled at art. From stones and shells and dried up seeds, they made headdresses and strings of beads. With a flute carved of bone or an empty conch shell, they would make music, and some danced as well. But the thing they could make that stands well apart is their bold and colorful cave wall art. These great works of art are still being found on walls inside caves deep under the ground. In colors and lines, these Stone Agers drew the Ice Age mammals they hunted and slew. Such beautiful pictures as you can see here: rhino, mammoth, bison, lion, bear, and deer. But the one missing mammal that I'd like you to see in a bold cave wall picture is a little old me. Felis Hattis. And that's it. And I think that was probably a prehistoric cat. I don't think it was a cat in the hat, though. That was a good little read, right? Alright. Now, we'll finish off real quick with a reading from Life's Journeys According to Mr. Rogers. Things to remember along the way. Who we were in the present includes who we were in the past. Letting go is seldom easy, whether it's letting go of our children, our parents, or our childhood feelings. But just as the root systems of plants often have to be divided for healthy growth to continue, the different generations within a family may have to pull apart for a while for each to find its own healthy identity. And we'll put that one back in the rotation too. That's going to be it. Glad you guys are here. Hope to get to see you next week. Remember that I love you for being exactly who you're supposed to be, and you're the only one that gets to decide that. Also, remember that your mind, just like our books, work better when it's open. I love you. See you next week. Bye.